What do you make of the Pittsburgh Steelers this year? You know, over the last few years, the Steelers have been one of the most reliable teams in the league. But this season, they've been very unreliable. They opened the year by sort of laying an egg on the road in Denver, at least in the second half. That defense just fell apart in the second half and losing that game to the Denver Broncos. Then they played very well the next week, blew out the New York Jets. After that game, the next 3 games, and it was over 4 weeks because it was a bye week sandwiched in there, but for the next 3 games against Oakland, Philadelphia, and Tennessee, the Steelers looked awful. And so heading into last week's game against Cincinnati, I was just about fully off this Pittsburgh bandwagon, but then they showed up last week, and that defense especially looked like that same smothering Pittsburgh Steelers defense that we've seen for the better part of the last decade, limited Cincinnati to less than 200 yards of total offense. Cincinnati was 9th in the league in yards per game coming into that game, so where are we left now? What do you think of the Steelers now? I'm not sure what to think. Now, this Sunday, they're 5-point favorites at home against the Washington Redskins. 47.5 currently the total on BETDAQ. The Redskins, even though they might not be a great team, they're 3-4 on the year right now, they are very predictable. We know just what to expect from this Washington Redskins team. They are a team that scores in bunches. They put up points and put up yards. There's no defense in the league that has yet figured out how to slow down this Robert Griffin III-led Washington offense. But Washington cannot stop anybody. This is one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They have the worst secondary in the NFL, 32nd, dead last in pass defense right now. And that is not a good thing when you're going up against Ben Roethlisberger and this Pittsburgh passing attack. Over the last couple of years, Pittsburgh has really evolved into a pass-first team. A lot of people thought that in bringing in Todd Haley this year to coordinate the offense, that might change, that Haley might try to get them more back to that run-first identity. That hasn't really happened. Pittsburgh is still a team that lives and dies on the arm of Ben Roethlisberger. And Roethlisberger is an elite quarterback. I know for whatever reason, some people out there, he doesn't have fans. I understand why people aren't fans of him off the field, but you hear a lot of people saying Roethlisberger might be overrated, or at least you've heard that over the last couple of years. I think as the years go by and as the games go by, Roethlisberger is proving those people wrong week after week. There aren't 5 quarterbacks in the NFL better than Ben Roethlisberger, and he's got quite a wide receiving core out there to work with in Pittsburgh. So the Washington defense really has their hands full this week. Now, I'm hesitant to bet against Washington. Listen, I've been underestimating the Washington Redskins all year because this was a team that won 5 games last year, a rookie quarterback. I felt like ever since the Week 1 win over the New Orleans Saints, I've really felt like the hype around this team was a little out of control and Washington was a little overvalued. And turns out, after beating the Saints, they did lose a couple of games. But I've bet against Washington 4 times this year in their 7 games, and I'm only 1-3 in those 4 games. So I might be stubborn and hard-headed, but I'm not that stubborn and hard-headed. Clearly, the Washington Redskins are better than I'm giving them credit for. I guess I keep waiting for defenses to either figure out the Washington offense and slow it down a little bit, or waiting for Robert Griffin to have the type of game that every rookie quarterback has, a game in which they turn the ball over a whole lot and really are the reason that their team loses the game. Griffin hasn't had that game yet. I mean, this guy has been the reason their team has been in games all year long. Now, interesting thing about this game here, Dick LeBeau, Pittsburgh's legendary defensive coordinator, Dick LeBeau has been coaching defense in the NFL since 1973. And in all of Dick LeBeau's years of coaching, he's been defensive coordinator, he's been a head coach, a Dick LeBeau coach defense has never lost to a rookie quarterback. I mean, that is unbelievable when you think about all the years and all the games and all the rookie quarterbacks Dick LeBeau has faced. A Dick LeBeau coach defense has never lost to a rookie quarterback. Now, Robert Griffin III, he might not be unlike any rookie quarterback Dick LeBeau's ever seen, but this is a very interesting offense they're running in Washington. And Robert Griffin III, he is a tough guy to stop right now. And Griffin deserves a whole lot of credit, but Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, that Redskins coaching staff, they deserve a lot of credit too. Because when you look at this Washington Redskins offense, it looks nothing like the Redskins offense of last year. They've really changed this offense to suit Griffin. They've done what good coaches do, and they've taken their talent and put that talent in the best possible position to succeed. They've done an excellent job of it. Can't say enough about Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, the job they've done coaching that offense this year. Unfortunately for them, they're just so bad on defense, they probably won't be anything better than mediocre. I don't expect the Redskins to challenge for the playoffs. Can they beat Pittsburgh on the road in this game? Again, I lean towards no. When you see Pittsburgh -5 here, I think about the Pittsburgh passing offense versus that terrible Washington secondary, and 5 points seems like a pretty reasonable number. But again, I'm not an idiot. I'm not betting against the Redskins. Again, I'm clearly underestimating and undervaluing this team. The bet I like the most in this game is the over. 47.5 is a total in this game. And some of the trends point towards the under. The under is 4-0 in the last 4 meetings between these two teams. But I go back to the way I envision the game playing out. I think that Pittsburgh's going to have no trouble moving the ball and scoring points. And even though the Steelers' defense is still second in the league in yards allowed, and Dick LeBeau has never lost to a rookie quarterback, I've seen that Steelers' defense look bad a couple of times this year. They look bad against Tennessee, and they look awful a few weeks ago against the Oakland Raiders. So I don't have full confidence that the Steelers are going to shut down Robert Griffin and this Redskins offense. So I do lean towards over 47.5 in this game. But as I learned last week, totals are so tough. I was on under 44.5 in the Green Bay St. Louis game last week, and there were only 23 combined points in the game heading into the fourth quarter. But an incredible set of circumstances. 27 points were scored in the fourth quarter. I lost that game. So sometimes totals can be frustrating because what you expect to happen will happen. For example, I think neither one of these offenses are going to have trouble moving the ball. I think we're going to see a lot of offense and a lot of points. Well, we could have a game play out where it happens just like I expect it to happen. Both teams go up and down the field, but due to things like red zone turnovers or missed field goals or what have you, a game could go under. Likewise, you could be right about a game, meaning you could like the under in a game, and the game is a defensive struggle where both offenses struggle to move it. Yet you could have things like special teams touchdowns and defensive touchdowns, things that are very difficult to predict that can cause the game to go over. So totals in general, I feel, are a little bit more unpredictable than betting the games in terms of the money line or the handicap. I guess Pittsburgh money line would be, I think, the safest bet in this game, even though I know that bet does not pay that well since the Steelers are a 5-point favorite. I'm staying away from the handicap in this game. I do lean towards the under, do lean towards Pittsburgh money line and the under. But you know what? With the Washington Redskins, with how much they've surprised me week after week, nothing would surprise me with this team. They might just march into Three River Stadium, almost called it Three River Stadium, Heinz Field. For years and years, of course, it was Three River Stadium. Redskins might march right into Three Rivers and hand the Steelers a defeat. That just sounds right, doesn't it? Redskins and the Steelers in Three River Stadium, Dick LeBeau on the sidelines. Should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it.